How you doing? So, there's been a lot going on. I did a live last night. Thank you for those who made it. And also, the replay crew. You're also awesome. If you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. Went a little bit off the rails a little bit, talking about cats and collars. And I did forget to talk about the chair situation, but I've got a video coming very soon. Anyway, the meat and potatoes, that's what you're here for. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So, the burger, that's what we're going to call him from now on. The Nothing Burger has had his hearing. And lo and behold, not 24 hours later, there is a dissemination order, a GAG order. And we're going to have a look at that together and talk about in a minute what that specifically means and why they're likely to have done this. So let's go on to here. Let's go on to here. Got no hat on today. Feel a bit naked with no hat. Right, so what do we got? What do we got? So this is the GAG order. And the District Court of the 2nd Judicial District of the State of Idaho in and for the County of Latah. This is State of Idaho versus the Nothing Burger. And look, for those of you who say, look, that's a little bit disrespectful. He's not been found guilty yet. I get it. At the moment, they seem to be very sure that they've got their man. I'm going to do a video later on today, so keep those peepers peeled, because we are going to have a little bit of a chat about that. But for now, it's all about getting gagged. So what do we got? The court, by stipulation of the parties, enters its order as follows. It is hereby ordered that the parties to the above titled action, including investigators, law enforcement personnel, attorneys and agents of the prosecuting attorney or defense attorney, are prohibited from making extrajudicial statements, written or oral, concerning this case, other than a quotation from or reference to, without comment, the public records of the case. This order specifically prohibits any statement which a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication that relates to the following: the evidence regarding the occurrences or transactions involved in this case, the character, credibility, or criminal record of the party, the performance or results of any examinations or tests, or the refusal or failure of a party submit to such tests or examinations. Non-dissemination order. Page 1, that was. Number 4, any opinion as to the merits of the case or the claims or defense of a party. Any other matter reasonably likely to interfere with a fair trial of this case, such as, but not limited to, the existence or contents of any confession, admission, or statement given by the defendant, the possibility of a plea of guilt to the charged offence or a lesser offence, or any opinion as to the defendant's guilt or innocence. It is further ordered that no person covered by this order shall avoid its prescriptions by actions that indirectly but deliberately cause a violation of this order. It is further ordered that this order and all provisions thereof shall remain in full force and effect throughout these proceedings until such time as a verdict has been returned, unless modified by this court. So there we go. So in a nutshell, nobody to do with this case, anybody can talk about anything to do with anything about it. So moving forward, I would say that we are going to get incredibly limited information. So the speculation train is going to be running at full force. I find it uncomfortable. You know, there's a lot of public perceptions already out there at the moment. Like I said, I'm going to do a video later on that, you know, people are questioning whether this is even the guy who did this. And like I say, we've got a video, then we'll talk about that later. I don't want to make this video about this because people want to listen to this. And they've come here for this. But look, so nobody can talk about anything. So what we're basically saying is, if you see something or hear something online throughout these entire proceedings, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt. There's going to be stuff that come out. There's going to be people who claim that they've got insider knowledge, I would expect. So for all of the subscribers out there who see something, do your own homework first before you run with it and give it to the creators that you help. And, you know, I certainly am going to be extra vigilant on what I take notice of, because at the end of the day, I have a feeling that out of 100% of information, 1% of it is likely to have any relevance to anything. And we've got some weeks or months ahead of us now. And I think it's going to be a very, very frustrating time, as we all want to know, you know, we all want to know everything. We do not have a right to know. Nobody is obligated to tell us. So we must understand that as well. But equally, we are going to be frustrated. But what can we do? We've got to wait. We've got to wait for the process to be carried out. You know, this guy deserves a fair trial, and I believe that that could potentially be why this gag order has been put in place. We know Moscow is a very, very small community. The majority of the people in there are students. There's 11,000 students of the 25,000 strong community, and I would imagine that Utah are trying to keep hold of this, to trial it in Utah itself. You know, if this gets out of hand and they feel that there cannot be a fair trial in this area, they would have no choice but to move it to somewhere else, and then the game does somewhat change. So yeah, that's why I believe they've done this. But that's the gag order. That's everything. I'm Hatless Harsh, and I'll catch you all in the next one.